Welcome to AQUATICO, a new underwater city builder. A lot of vibe from Anno 2070, Banish, Frostpunk, you mix them all and you get AQUATICO. There's a free demo coming on Steam, again for free, from October 3rd to October 10th, so definitely don't hesitate to check in the video description below the page. You can also wishlist the game if you wish to, it's supposed to come out pretty soon. This is not a sponsored video at all, but I do want to share that as always when I'm able to show you some of those games before they are released, it does mean I got for free a key from the developers, so thanks a lot to the developer team and their PR team for sharing this key with me, and to thank them, let's watch the 1-minute trailer video. Don't hesitate to skip that if you wish by using the chapter functionality below. As I said at the beginning, the graphics and the setting remind me a lot of Anno 2070, which, let's be honest, was actually a great game. So if they improve on that one, this could be a great game. And so far, I am definitely impressed. Staying for 1 second on the graphic, they are actually quite beautiful, as you can see. The models of the buildings are quite interesting, they all look quite different. The map is also beautiful and you can get quite close. You can also go quite high, by the way. An interesting aspect of the game too is that you have humans and you have drones. So you have two sorts of workforce. They can all do different things. And those humans, they also live in a city. This is one part of the city over here. And when they are in the city, you can see them actually. Another cool concept of the game is that each of the buildings, for example, over here, I clicked on the oxygen generator. Each of those buildings have upgrades. You can optimize them, like decrease their upkeep for this one, increase their production. There's also many buildings where you can increase the number of workers. And that also linked to why the map may not seem that big, is because I may not need, 10 oxygen generators, which is something sometimes a bit boring in city buildings where you're just sort of duplicating many of the buildings when you're growing. With this one, you may not have to do that because you can upgrade them quite a bit. Of course, some of those upgrades are unlocked via the research tree. As you can see, the research tree is huge. You also unlock many different buildings and things like this. Interestingly, if you've seen my videos on Captain of Industry recently, Captain of Industry is sort of the tech tree, and currently in the early access phase with the rocket launch, and here instead we have the missile launcher. And continuing about those buildings, there's actually already a huge number of buildings in this demo version. First we have our domes, this is where our population lives. Then we have public buildings like depots, the trade ports, expedition house, because yes, you'll be able to do expeditions on the map. Rescue center, so I think the rescue center is a bit like Frostpunk, you're rescuing people from the broader map. And a warehouse. Then production buildings, tons of production buildings. As you can see, I've unlocked some of them like oil or sponge collector. Yes, you have to collect the sponges on the ground to make some plastic. We have electricity from the current, but also many that I haven't unlocked yet, like nuclear power plant, gold mine. Then food production, many types of food, and I'm going to get into that because that seems super interesting. Then we have security buildings. They are hidden right now, but that sort of means that either there's going to be AI in the future, or maybe we get attacked regularly by bandits, those type of things. Then infrastructure, this is mainly about the pipeline. You can see this pipeline here that's that enables me to share things like electricity and resources across my buildings. But that's not all. If we move now to a city where people are living, we actually get a whole bunch of new buildings. We have, of course, our housing from house level 1 to house level 5, basically the hotels. Then we have more public buildings like trade company, hospital, school, restaurants to give food to our people, I'm guessing. Fine production buildings, a bit like your luxury buildings in Anno 1800, like the perfume shop. Beautification too, I haven't unlocked them, but I'm guessing, it's statues, as we can see. So there is definitely tons of building, and again, this is just the demo version, so we could get a lot more in the future. To help you through that, there is actually a quick tutorial. You see it now popping up on the screen. I'm following the tasks that are given to me. It's leading me through creating, a self-sustaining base. We're producing a bit of food, producing a bit of plastic, a bit of oil, a bit of batteries also, because as you can see, there is a consumption. The batteries are used by my drones, so I need to make sure I produce enough. Similarly for the sponges, right? I'm producing 44, I'm using 12, so we're good there. You can check on the medicine right now. Nobody's sick, so all good. And then on the food, right? You can see the food is huge. There's a lot of different types of food, different tiers of food. And again, I think quite importantly, we can see the monthly consume and the monthly use, so you can sort of play with that. I do think the UI is quite good. It's quite small, right? We have this bar at the top, this over here in particular for pausing and accelerating the speed, and here are buildings. And for most of these, there's also shortcuts, right? For example, the map, M, the jobs, G. But yeah, I think quite a good, you can see everything. We can see the electricity. If your electricity balance is negative, it becomes red, right? So all those small things, I think, are making it quite good. And that's not all. If you click over here on additional panels, you can see a bunch of other things. We've just talked about the job board over here, right? You can choose how many people you put on every job. You can automatically assign, so that's quite useful. But again, that's not all. There are many other things like if I click on L now, I'm able to see all of the buildings in my city. I can filter, for example, see only the town buildings, only the food production, right? There's many filters, and with that, I can see how many I have. I can see if they've been improved, right? So everything at a glance, really cool over here. Then similarly, I can see all of my stocks over here, right? How is it going up and down? I can set caps. We're gonna be able to also do trade, as I said earlier, right? So you can see how many you bought, how many you sold. Then with O, we can also have a log, and we can see everything that has been happening. If you miss a notification or all those type of things, and all of these you can move, right? You can put wherever you want, so really cool. And the research, as I said, quite a big research tree. It will take you some time and some money, some credit, to do them. But another one that's huge is we have a base and we can put some directive. It's like policies, right? For example, to give you bonuses, and in exchange for that, it will cost you some influence and some credit. And lastly, as I mentioned before, there is gonna be an expedition map. Right? If you build an expedition house, then you can start doing expeditions. I think discovering probably some AIs you can trade with, maybe also some military ones that you have to attack or they will attack you, those type of things. So I'm seeing a lot of depth in this game, a lot more than what I expected at first glance. When you start a new game so far, we can see a couple of maps. There's actually only one that's available in the current version. To me, it does seem to mean that maybe, it's not like we're gonna have hundreds of maps, but maybe just a small number of them, and each of them is handcrafted manually. There's also a difficulty level, and in particular, you're able to choose, your resources, your events, disasters, those type of things, how much you have, and maybe later we'll get a few more options. This is always good, the more options you have, I feel, in those type of games. There is one more super important thing that I haven't talked to you about, which I felt was really, really cool, is any building that you click on, you can click over here on painting. And with that, you can choose either for one building or for also all buildings of the same type or all buildings in your city. You can customize their colors. So you can see, for example, here, let's put some big red color, some green, and another, and some pink. So with that, you can create really the city of your dream, how it looks. I think that is really cool and really easy to do. In particular, as I said, you can apply for all buildings at the same time or all buildings in your city if you want at once. So that is really, really cool in my opinion. Look at this. Now this looks very different. There's two things that I do want to mention on a bit the negative part. One is I think it's actually very hard to know which building is what at first glance, to know that this is oxygen, to know that this is a gathering place for food, to know that this is plastic. Like, it's very hard for me to know that. Of course, I think at some point when you start playing it, you start learning that, but we've also seen that there's so many of them, to remember which one is what can be sometimes hard. I know we have the L button to easily find, all of our buildings, because of course when you click on it, then it is highlighted, right? And you can find it and all of this, but still I do find this is not so easy. Maybe it could help to have something like, a big sign on it that's linked to what it is. For example, right, this is the plastic element, or this is the tool element. If I can have a big sign to show me this on the building, maybe that will help. And the second thing I wanted to mention is maybe this is because just this is a demo, right? And this will come in the full game, but I felt like I was missing a bit either a story or a clear progression path. And by that, I mean, right now I just finished the tutorial, and I obviously do like that I'm not forced to do exactly, follow step by step until the end of the game, but I also feel like now I'm not too sure what to do. And I also don't feel the pressure, the urge to get to the next level. I feel like I'm producing what I need to produce, right? I'm not in an immediate danger. And of course, I could just sort of just follow the research tree, research it, then build it. But again, I don't feel that urge to just move forward. And maybe again, a story would help, because the story could sort of push you in a direction, even if it doesn't force you to do something, or to create a bit more urgency in terms of, we're not producing enough of everything, to put us in the red, for example, on crude oil, on fuel, all those type of things, to force us to expand the city. But again, I think a game that has a lot of potential. I definitely suggest you check in the video description below the Steam page, so that you can get the free demo during the October Steam Festival, and also wishlists if you want to get more news on it. So tell me in the comments below if you want me to play it more. Maybe we can try together to get to the end of the tech tree. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you for watching.